For the past week, we've been inundated with grim reminders of what a lousy year 2020 has been. You know what I mean. National media's year-end summaries of 2020's highlights and lowlights, which of course in this most challenging year skew heavily toward lowlights. But 2020 has also seen some remarkable events, and yes, I mean remarkably good. First, the bad. We've seen more than 300,000 deaths from COVID-19 in the U.S. alone, and 25,000 deaths in California. The astounding politicalization of mask wearing, civil rights protests and racial strife of a type we haven't seen since the 60s, and a national election that seems to drag on despite the winner's 7 million vote margin of victory and subsequent affirmation of the outcome in courtrooms across the U.S., including the Supreme Court. Despite all that troubling evidence of polarization, we've seen this too in 2020. We reached out to help each other in ways both great and small, from the heroic, Herculean, and ongoing efforts by doctors and nurses in our hospitals here and across the U.S., to the sort of contributions any of us are capable of. We sewed or purchased face masks for friends, neighbors, and coworkers. We contributed food, money, and other items to charities that needed help this year more than at any time in memory. The battle against homelessness continued undeterred, with low-barrier shelters operated by the city of Bakersfield and the county of Kern, opening or near completion. We took home rescued dogs and cats at a pace perhaps never seen before, emptying local shelters. In a bizarre year for sports, we saw both the Lakers and Dodgers win championships, a welcome diversion. But 2020 affected us in more meaningful and long-lasting ways. We took great leaps forward in science. We saw an all-hands-on-deck approach to, first, ventilator production, and then, even more amazing, development of multiple vaccines in stunningly record time by several pharmaceutical companies. The U.S. space program and its poster boy project, the Mars rover, fueled decades of technological advances to come, and private space travel, headquarters Mojave Desert, took great leaps forward as well. 2020 affected the way we interact with our places of employment. Many of us worked from home. Zoom entered our vocabulary in a sense that had nothing to do with fast cars. A vision of what urban settings with fewer workers might look like took shape. 2020 forced us to change, and change can be hard. But this change helped us glimpse what lies ahead in terms of a new economy, and we began to talk less about recovery and more about reimagining. 2020 didn't just age American society, in many ways it matured American society. The past year's challenges won't magically go away like a miracle at the stroke of midnight. In very significant ways, early 2021 may be harder than anything we faced in 2020. But widely despised 2020 did teach us some good things about ourselves and point us in a direction that, if we take these lessons to heart, will serve us well in 2021 and for years to come. In Bakersfield, hoping for a happier new year, Robert Price, 17 News.